Knows Best.
Hi, friends, and welcome back to Brenna Knows Best. I'm your host, Brenna Berg. Hi, how are you guys? Happy Friday! Happy Friday, everybody. I just got back from a walk, and last week I told you I almost caught the stray dog and took him to the vet, but he got off the leash and so on and so forth. I've been looking for him every single day, multiple times a day. When I head out on my runs, when I head out on my walks, I'm looking for him. This morning, I head out on my walk, and of course, I'm like extra looking in the place that I saw him the first time. I head out on my walk. I go up to the nice neighborhood that I go around, and I'm coming back. And basically, I've explained this before. We live in a neighborhood. It's not a bad neighborhood by any means, but there's a main road, and then on the other side of that road is like a nice neighborhood. And therefore, I always walk up our few streets, I cross that main road, and then I go into the nice neighborhood, and then I cross the street and come back. And we're only like 4 roads down from the main street, not that far at all. And the stray dog was like in our neighborhood. I'm walking back. Y'all, I'm looking up and down the streets because I want to find that dog and help him. I look down one of these streets and I see a little fluffy dog staring at me, standing on the sidewalk, right? Nobody around, pretty far down. And something about me is I do not have perfect vision. I should, in theory, go to the optometrist. However, I will cross that bridge when I get there. Do you know? No. LaDonna worked at an optometry place. She worked at, she literally moved all over the place. LaDonna, my grandmother, if you're new here, if you don't know who LaDonna is, that is certainly a you problem. She worked at Pearl Vision, and then she worked at, that's all she ever did because she did not go to college. Right. Nobody in my family went to college, but hello. I'm not sure what she started doing, if she always did what she did once I was older, but basically when I was old enough and then able to drive, LaDonna worked at Eyes on Parkway in Bismarck, and she worked in the lab and she cut lenses. I would pop up to her work and oh my gosh, so special. Once I could drive, Eyes on Parkway was like the corner unit of like a tiny little strip mall situation. And you walk up the sidewalk and there is a big window to your right, and the door, if you walk up the sidewalk, you run smack dab into the door because it's on the corner, but the side that you're passing is some of their windows. Well, it was this big window, but you couldn't see in. However, they could see out. And every time I would walk up, that's where the lab was. So I would walk in the door, I'd say hello to the girls at the front desk, and then I would just hang a right and go in because that was not her office, but essentially that's where she always was. She cut lenses. And if you don't know anything, this is so interesting because I don't know why anybody would ever see this, but it was so normal to me. It's this little room, and basically whenever obviously the doctors, have patients and then they get the lenses. So they would get shipments of the lenses in whatever kind of all these numbers, oh my gosh, I used to know these words, but it's been so long now, in the degrees and whatever for the person with the vision issues, every single pair of lenses, I'm not really sure, are different. But anyways, they would get the shipment in of the lenses, and they just come in a big sort of lens, a big, not oval, not quite a circle, a rounded rectangle. And then LaDonna had a machine, and you would put the lenses in the machine because then she would also get the frames, right? Because you get to pick out your frames, and every frame needs a different size of lens. Well, this machine, she would put in the lens, it would get not like that, but you'd snap them in there, and then she would put in whatever the numbers are that she needs, and it would cut the lens, and then she would snap the lenses into the frames. And that's like literally what LaDonna did. I'm sure she did more than that, but like in this office, it was all of these little trays where she would just like pull them out. You got the lenses, you got the frames. People would complain that they didn't like the frames, and then she'd have to redo. And then this person ordered 5 frames, so they got 5 lenses, and she's cutting. Like, that is what LaDonna did as her career for as long as I was alive. I'm not sure, again, if she started in the optometry world doing something else, maybe working the front desk. I have no idea. And actually, I should ask her now that I'm saying that. But when I was a kid, oh my gosh, this is so stupid. And I remember it was so stupid at the time. When you bowl, right? Because I was like a professional fucking bowler. There are dots in the middle of the lane closer to you, but like out on the lane, there are these dots, and I don't remember what we call them, markers, what the frick ever. There's about 10 of them, and then there's boards, because lanes, bowling alley lanes, are wood. Right. So like they have these tiny little boards, and in between the dots, it's typically like 5 boards. Well, when you bowl, hot take, not a hot take, big tip. Okay, this is how bowlers bowl. You obviously do your approach, but when you're throwing the ball, these like dots and the boards, you look at exactly where you want the ball to go. During your whole approach, you're staring at the spot, like not halfway in the lane, but like if you go to the bowling alley, you would know close to you, because that's where you want to hit. Like, I know that this bowling ball curves this much, and obviously with the oil pattern and so on and so forth, what the frick ever, but like I would try and aim for the second dot, right? But sometimes, a lot of the times, I was not anticipating at all giving a bowling lesson, and I feel so bad because you probably listened to me gab about the stupidest shit, and you're like, I never needed to know that. I never wanted to know that. But basically, imagine a football field. You know how you have the 5-yard lines? Or is it 10? No, there's 5. It's split up into 5 yards, and then they have like the little divots in between, right? Because it's going by ones, but like to just overall look at it, you got the 5 yards, boom, 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 right? Well, imagine that at the bowling alley. So there's these dots, and those are like the 5-yard lines, but in between them, you have the wood boards that you can see. They're not like, literally, it's just wood boards, like in a flooring, but they're really skinny. You have 5 of those in between the 2 dots. And therefore, when you need to throw a ball, like let's say on the 3rd board, like you're staring at that, right? And when my father would coach me, he would be able to tell where I should be throwing it. He's like, I think you need to be throwing it, boom. And I would go up and throw. And he's like, bitch, were you looking at it or no? Because obviously your ball doesn't go there every single time. And obviously I had like goddamn ADHD. So I'm like looking all over the place. I'm like, oh. But anywho, I was bowling, and I'm pretty sure what was happening is I was just like not really in it, and I just wasn't paying attention, and I wasn't being intentional. And my dad's like, can you see what I'm talking about? Like, can you see the board? Like, do you know? And I'm like, no, I can't see it. That's literally all I said, because I think I was just so freaking over it. I just wanted to be done bowling. And I was like, Dad, shut the hell up. Literally booked my ass an optometry appointment immediately. I went to the optometrist like the next day. Like, he literally thought, he's like, oh my gosh, like you can't see, and you need to be able to see to be able to bowl, because you need to see the board, so let's get you into the optometrist. Oh, which he wasn't wrong. I do not have perfect vision. And basically, I'm not sure if we got some sort of, I'm sure, discount because LaDonna worked there. I go in, and my dad has glasses. My mom, I think now does for like reading maybe. Her eyes aren't as bad. My brother was already on contacts and glasses. And I remember always making fun of him because he's such a little bitch. He couldn't touch his eyeball. Like when he was taught how to put the contacts in, and to anybody out there that was like this as well, I'm sorry, but like I'm not like that. And I'm like, Brandon, like I can touch my eyeball. Like, what is freaking you out about that? It's not a big deal. He literally struggled so badly. Like, it would take him so long in the morning to just put his contacts in because he didn't want to touch his eye. I'm like, you're a little bitch. And therefore, it was nice when I finally got contacts, because then I was like, see, I can put them in, right? I did it immediately. I'm like, what are you scared of? But basically, I got an optometrist appointment with Dr. Hool. Love you, Dr. Hool. And I got glasses and contacts. I was probably in middle school. Oh my gosh, I explained this because I told you guys not that long ago that I saw Jesus for the first time. Yes, but we didn't go into that much of depth, did we? Basically, I had contacts and glasses for a period of time, and like it very much made a difference. Like when I would put those glasses on, like it was so much crisper. I could see far. I'm obviously nearsighted. I like far away. I can see, but it's like not that good. It's blurry, right? But it's not bad enough. I stopped wearing the contacts and glasses probably in high school. It just like was so annoying to me. I, number one, didn't want to wear glasses because I didn't want to look like a nerd. And then contacts just became so annoying, and I stopped, and nobody ever said anything. And therefore I haven't worn them since, which is it good or bad? It's never affected me, right? I can see, you know, when I'm driving, sometimes seeing signs from far away is hard, but back to the dog. Holy shit, Brenna. I'm walking and I see a fluffy dog like down the sidewalk, and it's a fluffy little dog. Like it looks similar to the stray dog. It looked like the stray dog. Like, of course, though, in my head, I'm like looking for that dog. He's on the sidewalk, doesn't have a leash on. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, hi. So I start walking down the sidewalk, and he's quite a few houses down. As I'm pulling up, he has a collar on. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you have a collar on? And I'm still thinking that this is the stray dog. I'm walking. I'm like kind of like trying to talk to him. I'm approaching him slowly because last time he was very timid. And all of a sudden I'm like close. And then I come around this bush, and there's like a full-blown woman with her tiny little baby on a little blanket in her front yard. And she's like, Toby, Toby. And this is her dog, and it is certainly not the stray dog. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, I walked over here specifically for this dog. I saw a stray dog, and she was kind of razzled because I think, well, this dog wasn't on a leash, which I'm like, why are you in the front yard? Number one, like this, again, we're not like in the best neighborhood. You got your little baby. Like, it was nice out this morning, but like, why is the dog not on a leash? There's literally a woman in a Dalmatian coming down the street. I'm like, is he gonna run? Like, I just firmly believe that dogs should be leashed, right? If you're out in a place where you could run into anybody, even May Dog, even though I know she wouldn't hurt anybody. It's not about her. It's about other dogs. It's about, you know, scaring other people. I don't know. But anyways, she was then like, I'm standing here. I'm like saying hi because this dog is nice. He was fluffy, but as I got closer, I'm like, oh yeah, this is not the dog. I'm like, hi, you know, and then she's trying to grab him. So I grab his collar and like give him to her, but I was so embarrassed because this woman like had to have heard me come down the street being like, hi, like it's okay. And then I come around the corner, I'm like, you stupid bitch. Oh my gosh. I was doing my morning vlog and I was gonna put it in there, and I'm like, no, honestly, I don't want to put that in there. That was so embarrassing. Anywho, let's back up to last week. Friday, I went shopping. As you know, I went to Nordstrom Rack. I got 3 pairs of shoes. I got the red sneaker, and I want to talk about those. A lot of people were like, bitch, those Velcro shoes, disgusting. And I do get it. And I thought the same thing. However, my vision is that I'm going to wear those sneakers with wide leg jeans, and you won't see the Velcro. And even still, I kind of like something a little quirky like that. Like, I kind of love that, right? I even said that in the vlog. I'm like, they're kind of ugly, but like, that's kind of the thing, right? Like, I thought they were cute. Like, they're ugly cute with the Velcro. I then got the cream Nikes, which was perfection. I probably should have gotten those a long time ago. I actually, one of my like dream kind of purchases and things that I want to get is I want to get like those plain Nikes. I don't know if they're Dunks. I don't know if they're Jordans. I don't know what you call them or what style, but like I have them in the light pink that I got with Nanny Girl when I got us matching shoes. I think that was for the bat mitzvah or bar mitzvah. Yeah, it was. I have, oh, is that it? Oh no, I have navy because I bought those matching with Nanny Boy because it was his birthday. I think also for his bar mitzvah. And then I think that's it. I only have the 2 pairs, but I really want to get Nikes in each color that I wear. And Nanny Mom got these shoes and now I cannot find them anywhere. I don't know if they were like a specialty make, but they're like this Kelly green. I think that's what you call it, Kelly green. She has this Bottega, which I don't want that purse, but it matches perfectly. And you know what it matches? I have a green Zara shirt that I wore way back in the day when me and Carter went to that Stars game. The Dallas Stars are green, and that green looks phenomenal on me. Have I told you guys about the color analysis? Have we talked about that here? Oh my gosh. No, we haven't. My girl Nia, a friend online, messaged me and was like, hey bitch. She certainly didn't say that. She said, hey girl, I know that you've been trying to find your style, and something that's really helped me is this color analysis app. And she's like, I put in your picture because it's based on your skin tone and your hair and your eyes, what colors look best on you. And of course there are colors that, for example, that Target pink tee looks phenomenal on me. Like that color, red, is something that I'm realizing looks amazing on me. I think this Kelly green, I love it. Burgundy, maroon. Wait, really quickly, and I wish I could put a poll here and you could answer, but do you say maroon or burgundy? I think I should put up a story on my Instagram and ask, because I say maroon, but I feel like most people say burgundy. I went to high school, obviously, but our high school colors were maroon and gold, and therefore I think we just called it maroon. I don't know if that's like a Midwest thing. You know how, I'm sure I've spoken about this before, scotcheroos. If you have no idea what a scotcheroo is, number one, oh, they're the most delicious thing in the world. If you don't know what a scotcheroo is, have you ever heard of a Special K bar? Which a Special K bar, it like, that makes me think of the cereal. And I understand. Here's the thing. I worked at the Shake Club in college, and my very best friend Chelsea, oh my gosh, is about to give birth. She's pregnant. She's literally about to pop. I think her baby shower is this weekend up in Minnesota. But we met and worked at the Shake Shop together forever. I love her. She's literally the best. I was just talking to her yesterday, asking her about the baby shower and whatever. She was from Minnesota though, and I was from North Dakota, and we had a shake that was called the Scotcheroo. And basically, if you don't know what either of these things are, Scotcheroos are the base of it. So it's like a little bar. And we sold these at every single sporting event. Scotcheroos are made, and you make them in a pan. Brenna, break this down. You make this in a pan, just like any kind of like bar, I suppose. Like it's a dessert, okay, or it's like a sweet treat. It's Rice Krispies, or I suppose Special K, like that kind of cereal. I've actually never made it. Oh my gosh, wait, let me Google before I don't say this correctly. From my knowledge, it's like Rice Krispies mixed with like peanut butter and butterscotch, and it like creates this sort of, oh my gosh, how do you make a scotch roux? Where does the word scotcheroo? Okay. To make scotcheroos, you cook sugar and corn syrup on the stove until just bubbly. Then you stir in peanut butter and pour the mixture over Rice Krispies cereal. This base is pressed into a pan, and while it cools, you melt butterscotch and chocolate chips together to spread over the cereal layer. Yes. So basically the bottom part, which is thicker, the Rice Krispie and the peanut butter mix and like the corn syrup, it makes it so once it cools, it hardens together. That's like a little bit thicker on the bottom. I would say let's say it's 5/6. Okay, the bottom is that part, and then the top is this thin chocolate and butterscotch. I think some people might make it differently because I feel like we made it with butterscotch in that bottom section as well. I could be wrong. And then, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how people in North Dakota make them. You put the butterscotch with that bottom part, and then at the top, you just have that 1/6. You know, I said the bottom is about 5/6. I'm just trying to give you a visual, right? The top part is chocolate. It's just this thin layer, and it cools and it just turns into like a bar. And then you cut it into little squares, and you obviously can just eat it out of the pan. My brother FaceTimed me over the weekend. He was back home for my cousin's wedding, and LaDonna had made scotcheroos for him because my brother is such a little sweet treat freak. But when we would sell them at games, like, you know how you have the food stand at sporting events or whatever that's called, there would always, at every single place you've ever been in North Dakota for a sporting event, on the table, there would be little squares, pretty big size actually. I mean, you can cut them however big you want, and then you would wrap them in saran wrap and then put them in this bowl, like tons of it, and sell them for $1. And those things would go like hot cakes because everybody loves a scotcheroo. If you've never had one, if I had to pick a favorite dessert sweet treat ever, that's it. Like, I would eat them until my stomach hurt. Like, it's just, and like the butterscotch isn't too much, the peanut butter, it's just the perfect, and then the chocolate, oh my gosh, I haven't had one in so long. But basically, we had a shake, scotcheroo, and Chelsea brings it to my attention, and I literally never even knew it could be called something else. She said, I hate that it's a scotcheroo. It's a special K bar. Like, we call it a special K bar. And so one day when customers came in, we would ask them, because people loved us. Like, we were the duo. We were always fucking there. And it was just us two. But we had all of our regulars, and they would come in, and whatever shake and tea they were getting, regardless, we would ask them, do you call it a scotcheroo or a special K bar? And they would answer, and then we would follow up, and we'd say, where are you from, North Dakota or Minnesota? Because we lived in Fargo. Well, actually, the shake shop was in Moorhead, which is Minnesota. I'm sure I've explained this. Fargo Moorhead is split. Moorhead is Minnesota, Fargo is North Dakota, but it's essentially the same city. The only thing dividing it is a river. What river is that? The Red River? Oh, shit. Something like that. I forgot. There's a river, but it's essentially the same town. I'm sure you know of an example like that. And therefore, people who came into the store, and people in Fargo Moorhead in general, are either from Minnesota or North Dakota for the most part. And we found that if you were from Minnesota, for the most part, of course, there were like the outliers, or maybe, you know, because if your family is from North Dakota, Brenna, what the fuck, who gives? The people from Minnesota said special K bar, and the people from North Dakota said scotcheroo. And I had never even heard special K bar. And I'm like, why are you calling it a scotcheroo? Right? It's like one of those things when you call, this is way more controversial and not the same. Supper. We say supper for dinner. And I can't explain it. I don't know why, but it's like, I've gotten over it and I've gotten past it because my brother hates, like, he thinks it's just like a big sign that North Dakota people are idiots, which, like, he's not wrong, but that's not a very good example. It's just kind of like anything. It's how people, it's similar to an accent. Like, I say bag, you know, like my purse, my bag, and it's bag. Oh, I hate that so much. Anywho, how did we get here? How did we literally get here? I was talking about Nordstrom Rack and shoes, and then I got on to Scott. If you could see inside my brain, I went on a walk and then I sat on the couch to prep for this episode, and I was looking back at the week and I'm like, not much has happened. What the fuck am I going to talk about? 25 minutes later, here we are talking about nothing that I thought I was going to be talking about. I love it so much. I hope you guys enjoy it. But what was I going to ask you? Maroon burgundy. Maroon and burgundy. I love when I remember where the frick I was. I think it's one of those things, just depending on where you grew up. I'm going to put up a poll and I'm going to ask, and then maybe I'll do a follow-up. And no, because I feel like I just need to see the stats. Like how many people say maroon and how many, because it's the same thing. It's not like it's different. Like those are the same color. Anywho, color analysis. Maroon has always been one of my favorite colors. It was like our high school color, but I always knew it looked good on me, right? And anyways, Nia sent me this and she told me, wait, let me actually pull up the screenshots because I saved them. That way I know. And like everything that was on there, I was like, oh yeah, I know this already because I look good in these colors. Here is what I am. I am a deep winter seasonal or deep winter. And basically what those colors are, we have burgundy, we have like a dark purple, like that Target tee. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. Black, deep purples, navy, like deeper greens. They're all basically like dark shades of colors. I don't know what you would call that. And then here it says colors to avoid, basically like yellow, peach, terracotta, which makes sense. I always hate those colors on me. White is in the deep winter palette. Black, brown, which is like I'm finally coming around to brown. That's one of my colors. But this green right here, if you're watching, there's a green and I have a Zara t-shirt in that. It's like a crop tee that I haven't worn in a really long time, but I love it. And back to the shoes, Nanny Mom has these Nike sneakers in that green and I've wanted to get them for so long because in my head, you guys know me, I would wear the green shoes, black wide leg jeans, and then the green top. Like that's just would be my favorite outfit, period. And therefore, that's why I want to get the sneakers and all of like my favorite colors that I wear, because like the light pink ones that I got with Nanny Girl, I'll wear the light pink shoes, the little sneakers with my Zara Aritzia Aritzia effortless pant, the black ones, and then like that light pink long sleeve. I wore that to Jay Shetty that one time. Like if I could match the shoes to the top and then just wear like jeans or black pants, like that is an outfit that is simple and easy and I love. And therefore I would love to one day get all of like the Nike sneakers in like the colors of the tops that I wear. I could get a brown pair now. Now I have the cream, which is amazing. I put on those brown Zara jeans with a cream top and the cream shoes. Perfect. Chef's freaking kiss. This is honestly so helpful. Red is on here, forest green, or I guess I would call that olive green. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I know this because a lot of these colors, like red is the recent discovery. I guess last year I started wearing red. Maroon. Yeah. The blue. Oh, it also has the blue, like that blue workout set that I wear, the CRZ yoga one from Amazon. I'm like, love, love, love. I do need to follow this because I do look good in those colors and I enjoy wearing them, right? And the reason I'm bringing this up is because number one, she just sent this to me, but the app is called colorwise.me and she said that she paid. I'm sure there's like a free version. I'm not sure how much you can get from it, but if you're in your fashion era as well, maybe I've inspired you. This honestly was so helpful. I'm actually sure that there are probably websites or maybe ChatGPT. You could put in a picture of yourself and ask it for your palette. But this, like, for example, she sent me a few screenshots. Like it has my face and then around it in a circle, it has all of the colors so you can kind of see. It says deep winter. It gives best colors and then it gives colors to avoid. And then also, once you know your color palette, like you can go onto Pinterest and put like deep winter and then it'll give you more examples. You know what else I should probably do? One of those things where you figure out your body type, because your body type like falls into a category as well. Like, of course, we all know the basics. Like people always say pear shape or apple or whatever. I don't really know them specifically, but if you figure that out, ooh, I'm going to look into that. to see what clothes fit you best, like wide leg or skinny jean or high waist, mid waist, low waist, like what things flatter you. You have those two things, like you figure out what looks good on you and then your colors, you're set, baby. Buy those things. And it is helpful because I need to stop buying colors like, oh, see something that I like, but it's like in a color that's not my favorite, but I'll buy it because I'm like, I like the style. It's like, quit doing that. Only buy your color and that's it. Okay, let's move on. So back to what I was saying. Friday, went shopping. I'm trying to think if I got anything else. I went into Lululemon and I tried on their Groove pant because, oh my gosh, something else that hasn't been sitting right with me are my leggings. And just like your standard like yoga pant legging that just like goes tight down your leg, I feel like it's just not flattering on me. I do really like a little flare, whether it's the tight ankle or one that gets a little bit wide at the knee. I'm just like not loving the vibes. And as fall is approaching, I'm obviously going to be in leggings. I have 2 pairs of flares from Tala, which is Beverly's brand. If you don't know who that is, it doesn't really matter, but it's called Tala, Tala. They had longs because that's the other thing. Like I cannot buy just like normal length things. And I love them. I wore them a lot last year and the year before. I think I now bought them 2 seasons ago. But I've been wanting more. I tried the CRZ yoga ones where they flare just a little bit at the end, which they're great, but they do like slide up and then they just are a little bit too high for my liking. Like I want my pants to be like almost hitting the floor. Well, I go into Lulu and they do have a long version, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm not really sure what my hesitation was. However, another brand that I'd been wanting to try is Vitality. Vitality, I'm literally wearing the tank right now. I have the maroon and the black, just this thin strap scoop. This isn't really a scoop neck, but this tank top. If you know, you know. They have flare leggings and I've been really wanting to try their just brown colored. They have a color called Espresso. But I wanted to get it in a set because if I only got a tank top in that, I'm like, what am I going to wear that with? Sure, black, but like I would like it to be cohesive. And I'm like, let me just go on there. They have talls. Well, they have regulars, and I think the regulars are pretty long. Like I think the inseam is 33, whereas the talls are 35. But once you wash something, like again, if I have to get it hemmed, I would rather have it too long, which also leads me, I bought Gap wide leg sweatpants and they literally just came in the mail last night. I'm gonna do a video on them today. I got matching sets, a crew neck and then the wide leg pants because they have a tall. They're like too long, which is amazing because I'm gonna wash them and they should be perfect. I'm literally obsessed. I got brown, red, and then I got that bright pink color that they have. Anywho, let me go back to Vitality. I ordered a few sets because I had a code for either 10 or 15 or 20% off because it was my first purchase on their website. These tank tops that I got on Amazon, and therefore I was getting a discount and I'm like, let me just order a lot. That way I can return whatever. I'm getting the discount instead of, here was my thought process. If they work, then amazing. I'll get all of these sets. Maybe I'll return one because I did buy a lot. Or if they don't work, then I can send them back. But I would rather, like, let's say I only got one matching top and bottom and I really liked it. Then I go back on an order, but then I don't get the 10%. You know what I mean? I was like, let me just order them because I can always return them. I got this tank in, I think, what colors did I order? Brown for sure. I think I got a navy and I got the matching flare leggings as well. I'm not sure when they're coming. They use some sort of like off-brand shipping people that it's not telling me when the due date is, but I ordered those as well because it inspired me after I went into Lulu. I'm like, yeah, I think I need to be done with like the standard leggings. I'm just not loving how they look on me, like on the ankle. I don't know. Anywho, Saturday, I wake up and I go to puppy yoga. The French bulldogs. Oh my gosh, you guys. I did feel bad. I did feel like I was cheating on May, but they were the cutest little things. I never saw May when she was a puppy. I only met her when I guess she was 2, almost 3. She was a full-blown pup dog. Oh my gosh. I don't think I've actually ever seen in real life a baby Frencher. I've obviously seen videos. I couldn't take it. I met these two moms who came from South Lake. They were like probably in their 50s. Their kids were all in like college and around that age. Oh my goodness. It was incredible. There were 5 people in the class, 5 Frenchers, which they were running around the whole time. That was incredible. I haven't seen my husband. I have not seen him last night, you guys. Oh my gosh. I really haven't been taking the car that much because, when I take the car, then I have to pick him up, obviously. But if I want to like drive around, whatever, which I don't need to because everything's within walking distance of me. I have the grocery store, I have the bank, I have everything. May had a vet appointment yesterday. I couldn't feed her breakfast because she had to do a second round of blood work because something was like a little bit alarming, but they thought maybe it's because of the food. I still haven't gotten the results, whatever. I had the car. Carter texted me in the middle of the day and he was like, how are my girls doing? Love you. Like kind of slow right now, but blah, 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 blah. I obviously wait until he texts me to show up. But as of the past week, I would say Carter's getting done around 8 and heading home at 8 p.m. Okay. I've really been wanting to go to Knox Street, which has all of the home decor stores. They have Pottery Barn, Crate and Barrel, CB2, Room and Board, Restoration Hardware, a few other little ones. I bopped into Anthropology, but last night I was like, okay, I have the car. I took May to the vet appointment, and then I ran to Madewell. They didn't have the bag. And then I also got back in the mail my passport renewal. And it was the same day after I shipped it out that I realized I didn't get a check. I forgot to add the check because obviously you have to pay to renew your passport, and I'm changing my name, which is why I'm doing it. Yesterday in the mail, I get it back and I have a paper on the top and they said, we could not process this because funds were not received. I'm like, you stupid bitch. I go to Wells Fargo yesterday. Thankfully, I had the car. I could have walked there. There's one close, but it's like maybe a mile away. I drive over. I get a money order, $130. I slip that back into the thing and I ship that back off. Thank gosh, that's done. However, Carter had said earlier in the day he was not that busy. We don't really text. We do like one midday text. He'll say like, hey babe, love you. How you doing? I'll say, boom, that's it. I thought, he typically gets done around 8-ish. All of these home stores close at 8. I was like, let's go down around 6 p.m. And then if he texts me, I can just bop on over. It's it's on the way. Like, we live here. You got to go down that way anyways. Perfect. I go down around 6. I feed May at 5. I probably leave, 6. I go to the stores. I go to Crate and Barrel. I go to Room and Board. I bop around. I don't see anything. I also just was not in the mood to spend any money. Typical. And Carter has not texted. I leave at 8 and I go down to his office and just sit on the street, parked, obviously, because I'm like, he'll be done at some point. Right. And if I have to sit here, I'd either be sitting at home scrolling or I'll sit here. It's no biggie. I text him at about 8. I said, how's it going, Tootsie? He does not answer until 8:30. He said, I have one more thing to get off my plate. Love you, or whatever. Well, I'm thinking, when he says one more thing off of his plate, in the attorney world, there's no telling how long that is going to take. And he didn't really say. And I wasn't going to bother him. He's at work. I'm not going to tell him, hurry up, I'm here, because it's my own fault that I'm here. I'm like, okay, he still is working. It's 8:30. Let me actually pull up the exact time that he texted. I think I'm correct. Okay, I text him. Oh, and he also texted me at 6 because, 5:56. I was just heading out the door, but I made a payment on his student loans because we've had excess money. I wanted to make another payment, $4,000. He said, how's my Tootsie Girl doing? I see that you're willing and dealing these loans. Haha, I love it. And I said, how did you see that? Because typically he's not in the finances, but he gets an alert. He gets an email like, thanks for your payment, because obviously it's his student loan, whatever's. I said, how did you see that? I just cleared out the last 7.5% one, blah, 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 doing good, great, whatever. So that was at 6. That's when I was like literally leaving the house. I text him at 8. How's it going, Tootsie? He answers me at 8:36. Sorry, love. I've got one more thing to get off my plate. 8:47. I said, no worries. I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, well, I have leftovers at home, but it's 8:30. By the time he's still not done, he's doing something else. That means maybe 9. God knows. I should go and get him food. I'm sitting here and I've been sitting here for like 40 minutes at this point. I go over to the taco stand, his favorite place. I drive over, I get him a burrito, I come back. He texts me, hey love, will you come get me? 9:22. And then he also said, actually, I can just Uber home. But then I called him. I'm like, no, I'm here. And he was like, I figured you might be, because he knows, like, because we live when traffic is blazing. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes in the evening time to get there. And after a long day like that, and that's another reason I wanted to head down. It's like he finishes work and then he has to wait 15 minutes, which isn't the end of the world, but it's like 8 o'clock. I'm like, I can go and sit there for a second. You know, roughly it's around this time. I'm just trying to be like kind and helpful. 9:24. And then he gets down, he comes down the elevator because God knows what floor he's on. And I have the burrito and he eats it on the way home. But like we then get home like not that much before 10. That was just an example of like what his days have been like. Like he's gotten home at the earliest 8 and then he still has work. I just like make something. Like I have not seen this man. He worked all weekend. Like, oh my gosh. But anyways, this is what we signed up for. Puppy yoga. Then I get home and I start watching on Hulu, Love Thy Nader. If you know nothing about it, Brooks Nader, which this is actually really funny. I had no idea who this woman was. Like literally no idea. She never came across my desk. I don't know why I would know who she is until I'm going through TikTok and I see this girl follows me. Brooks Nader follows me on TikTok and I click on her page because it says follow back. Like that's how you know that somebody is following you. And I like look at her and then after I like looked at her page and then went to Instagram, I'm now like, you start to get more and like she went to Jeff Bezos' wedding and so on and so forth. And I follow her back, but like, this is the first time, like the only reason I knew this was like a few months back at this point. And I'm not saying that to be like, oh, I didn't even know who she is because she's incredible. And especially after watching the show, but like, I just didn't. Well, then, of course, after I started following her, all of this like marketing comes out about this like show that they're doing. I'm like, interesting. And I hadn't heard much about it, but then I saw people say that they enjoyed it. I'm like, let me just like throw it on because I love that kind of stuff. It's like The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. It's like anything. I'm like, let me check this out. These sisters are amazing. I loved it. It was like 8 episodes. I watched it Saturday and Sunday, obsessed with every single one of them and their parents. I'm like, love them. I watched that. And I think that's really all that happened. Sunday, I did my little errands. I went on a walk. Monday rolls around. I'm pretty sure that's it. Also, the thing that I did plan to talk about, and this is going to be really rich coming out of my mouth, talking about career and jobs. However, for the past year or two, 3 actually of my very best friends, and one of my friends got let go from her job in the tech world, but 3 of my very good friends for the past few years have hated their jobs. And all of them had been on hunts for jobs. I've like individually like helped 3 of my friends try and look for jobs. And I thought that this would be like super relatable to talk about because one of my very best friends quit her job yesterday. And I'm literally so happy for her. And I think that obviously as we get older, because here's like the one big discrepancy with career and jobs and life is once you pass that 26-year mark and you're no longer on your parents' health insurance, that's like one of the very big things you need to think about and can hold you back. Because you all know that my transition, my career history, I was in college. I moved to Dallas and did the internship with Exos, which is a sports performance company, but I was on the corporate wellness side. I was at a huge office building, a State Farm building. They had a gym on site, and that's what my internship was. I like ran the gym with the program manager, Chase, and taught group fitness and would come up with workouts and basically run this gym. Like they hire State Farm or whoever owns the building hired Exos to come in and like run the gym, right? Well, I interviewed with Exos after at a few other locations. I interviewed at RealPage, which is a tech company. They have a gym in their office and that's ran by Exos. I did it at Texas Instruments. If you guys remember, if you ever took calculus or a high level math class in high school, Texas Instruments, TI, you had to get a certain calculator that was like TI 19 or something like that. That's this company, Texas Instruments. They have a huge campus. Their gym is ran by Exos. And this is like a full on, I interviewed there twice. I think I had 2 interviews, or maybe I went there just like on a visit while I was doing my internship and then I got an interview. It was like a YMCA. It used to be like an actual gym, and then I think Texas Instruments acquired it. They have like basketball courts, studios, like it's a huge like legitimate gym. I interviewed there and they were the ones who gave me an offer. If I'm not mistaken, it was $32,000. This was 2019, like May. Okay, I was just graduating, or like June maybe. I don't know if I did it before or after April or May. $32,000. Let me break down. Okay, and if you remember, I did the internship. My internship from January to May was every day from 7 to 2. 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. because obviously the employees that worked at State Farm, like they were coming in before their day, in the middle, right at lunch, and the gym died off at the end of the day. I'm pretty sure people could go in there after work, but like it was so minimal that they didn't staff people, or there was another guy that would work the nights. Anyways, okay, $32,000, and that's salary, so that's not taxes taken out. Let's divide that by 12. $2,600 a month pre-tax. Oh my fuck. I forgot how diabolical this is. 26. It was a $3,200 or $32,000 offer. I remember that much. Like that was literally the job offer. So I did the math at the time. $2,600 a month. Taxes, what do they even take out? Like that would maybe be $2,000 a month. I'm living in Dallas, Texas, and I rented an Airbnb for 4 months during the internship with just like money that I already had from college. But I was signing a lease with my friend Nicole from Equinox. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I was working part-time at Equinox. So I did my internship from 7 to 2, and then I would work 3 to 9 at Equinox. I would just drive immediately down into Dallas and work 3 to 9. And I pretty much did that every day. And then I worked at Equinox during the weekends as well. And I was making, I think, $7.50, $8, nothing. But like, it was just number one, something to do. Number two, a little bit of extra money. I got this job offer and I was still working part-time at Equinox. I was like, at the very least, I'll pick up more shifts. I'll just like kind of break even, because the lease that me and Nicole were signing was like roughly $1,000 a month, maybe $900. And therefore, my job offer being $32,000, getting $2,000 a month, I'm going to work 40 hours a week to make $2,000 a month. That's going to be, number one, half of that is my rent. That's not gas. That's not food. I'm like, what are we talking about? And as you know, in college, I worked at the Shake Shop and made a shit ton of money. Like, and that wasn't realistic because that was like an MLM and that was like definitely some shady business. But like, I'd come from that. And I also did the math. I'm like, okay, let's say I make $750 at Equinox. Let's do times 40. That's $300 a week. Again, that's pre-tax. Let's do 4. That's 12. Like, obviously that's not similar, but I'm like, there's gotta be like, I'll work 2 jobs. I'll work like Equinox and then I'll get like a waitressing job because you make so much money on tips. I would rather do that than work 40 hours a week every single week. And the hours were like weird. It was like from 11 to 7, they wanted my shift to be, and it was like every other Saturday. Like, it was like not a standard thing either, but just knowing that like you can hustle and work a few jobs. Oh, I was also walking dogs. I was using WEG, which honestly was a much higher dollar per hour rate than Equinox or anything. I'm like, okay, oh, that's what I justified. I said, I'll work at Equinox and I'll walk dogs and I can make the same amount. And I'm like doing things that I enjoyed. Like, I enjoyed working at Equinox, even though I was making dog shit. And then I can walk dogs and I'll make that salary. Like, I can make that amount. It might be a few more hours, right? But I was like, if I calculated it, that it just made more sense. And like, I wasn't excited about this job either. So I'm like, why am I going to do, just because I'm like supposed to like get a job? Like, that just like never really was something that was like pushed down my throat. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. What the fuck are you talking about? No. Well, I don't take that job. I work at Equinox. I walk dogs. I make enough money to obviously get by and do whatever. Then I get approached about opening this Pilates studio and kind of like managing the front desk. I don't remember. I think that was like $15 an hour. And I was like, yeah, baby. I do that for a while. But I also knew, I'm like, okay, Brenna, I want to make money. How can I do that? Like, what can I do that would be the most amount of money for my time? And that's when I got my real estate license. And that's when I started doing apartment locating at Smart City, because it's a commission only job. I started doing that. Again, though, I'm not 26 yet. I'm still on my parents' health insurance. I don't have to think about those kinds of things. I make a fuck ton of money, blah, 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 blah. Go, go, go. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And then I meet the nanny fam and start just like working for them somehow, some way. But this is roughly when I'm about to be 26 and I need to get my health insurance. But at that point, I could pay for it, right? Because I was still doing real estate. Like, I did real estate and the nanny job at the same time for a while. Basically, you all know this, but what I'm saying, because my one friend went straight into corporate, and Natalie was a dance major, and we literally were talking on the phone yesterday, and she's like, God bless my mother, because she like really wanted me to follow my passion, and my passion was dance. And we also kind of grew up in that era of like, do what you love. I don't buy that. I don't. Like, Natalie was like nearly on the edge of tears, or the verge of tears. She's like, I wish like I would just have done finance or business or something. And that way you make money, and then you use that money to live the life you want or get you to the places. Like, she's in the dance field, which, let me tell you, makes no fucking money, which I don't think that's correct, but that's the reality. And she has a dance major. She's like, what the fuck is that going to do me? Because she wants to quit her job, but she's like, I have no skills. She's been at her job for forever. It's the same with my brother, which he actually has a great degree. He has a chemical engineering degree and chemistry. He's been at the same job since he graduated. This man turns 31 next week, and he graduated when he was 22. And this is what I wanted to talk about. I think a lot of people, this can happen in relationships, but in work as well. It's not bad enough to leave. I think a lot of people are in jobs that they don't like, some more than others. Like Natalie, it's become a place where she's like crying every day. She's like not okay. But this has been, again, she's worked this job as well since she graduated, and she turns 30 next year. So it's like she's been doing this for like 6 years, working for the same company, being unhappy for a very long time. But like, it's not bad enough to leave. Like my brother, it's like he wants to make more. He could do more, but it's like the job security. And as we get older, now, you know, you have health insurance and you rely on that. So you can't just like quit your job and do nothing. You need the health insurance, especially if you're single, obviously, Or my brother, like, I don't know if his wife is on his, but like things get more and more complicated. And yeah, Natalie and I were just talking about like me and Carter talk about this with our kids. Like, of course, I'm going to want them to do what they want to do, but I'm going to highly, highly encourage finance or business or marketing, something that can be applied to different things. It's like, yes, if you can find a job that pays well and you enjoy, that's like goals, goals, goals. But for a lot of us, that's not real. Carter right now, he doesn't want to be an attorney. He never wanted to be, but he's using this as a stepping stool. He's making the money. And that's the other thing. At least he's making a good amount of money. My good friend Natalie, like, she's not making any money. So it's like, you're miserable. You're not liking it. And then you're not, I don't know exactly what she makes, and that's none of my business, but just from our conversations, obviously, I think that's a lot of people. I've heard people talk about, actually, I saw Taryn Lamb, who I think lives in Austin. She got a job offer right out of college as well to work at TikTok, $40,000. My job offer was $32,000. Hers was $40,000. That's still barely $3,000, maybe like $3,500 a month pre-tax. You're living in Austin, Texas. And like, she took it because like, you're supposed to get a job. And like, I think a lot of us feel that way, but I'm like, number one, in those first 20 to 26 or whatever, like, do different things, try different jobs, calculate how much you make. Like, could you do something else? And my friend Natalie wanted to quit. And I'm like, you could do so many things. You could nanny for a little bit. You could just teach dance classes at a studio, which she does. You could pick up more. You could work and be a coffee shop person. Like, if you can work it out, and she's going to be married. I'm like, if you can work it out with your husband, like a lot of us out there, I know a lot of you are single probably and don't have that luxury. I'm like, as long as you make a little bit, like whatever you need to then figure it out, but like, quit the job and give yourself time, because we all know that looking for another job is so time consuming and it's so discouraging and it's just the worst. And my brother has gone through this. Like, he's had moments in his life where he's looked for other jobs, then he just gives up because, again, he's got a stable paycheck, does the thing. It's fine. He doesn't love it, but it's fine. And like, going through the hassle, I get it. I totally get it. But our lives are so long but so short, and it's like a relationship. Like, when you're with somebody that it's not great, but it's not bad enough, and it's like, it's not bad enough. Like, I'll stay until this, or like, we all have that. Like, this is one. Actually, Carter brought this up to me last night. He was like, I want to sit down and do my 5-year plan, my 10-year. He's like, I need to figure out my exit strategy, right, in the future. And we were talking about it, and I was like, babe, that's so hard, because even 3 months ago, we didn't know you were going to be where you are now. And I'm like, I know that this firm is a good firm, and the goal is to stay here until he does leave and starts his own company. But I'm like, it's so hard to say in 5 years, we could move. God knows, like, my, career and what's going on. Like, there's so much uncertainty. I think it's good to plan, but I also think you need to think about right now. And that's how I always lived with the real estate, with the nanny fam. Of course, some things just kind of happened, but like, I always had these moments of like uncertainty, and I'm like, fuck, like when I was leaving the real estate job and then I started TikTok, like I was so over the real estate. I was like in this weird funky place, and then I quit, and then I had to figure it out. Right. But I also had the nanny fam at the time that was getting me by. It was good. But then I'm like, what do I want to do? And I think that I'm looking at it right now. My friend Natalie is going to be 30. My brother's 31. Like, they're in these jobs that they don't really enjoy, but it's like, guess what? 10 more years are going to go by. And of course you have to be smart, and you can't just willy-nilly quit your job. But I just wanted to talk to you guys, because I'm like, if every person in my life is in a place where they're like in this position, I'm like, I'm sure a ton of you are out there, and I'm not telling you to quit your job. Get your ducks in a row. Of course, like, make sure you have 6 months of expenses or 3 or whatever. Get the side job, do the side hustle, or get like a part-time job, something to like get you by in the meantime or help build up income. There will be moments, y'all, like I had a million jobs at one time. I was doing Equinox, I was doing WEG, I opened the Pilates studio, then I got my real estate license, I was still doing WEG, I was still doing the Pilates studio, I was working a fuck ton in college, I worked like, but I had to do that to get by, and it sucked at the time, but it got me here. Like, I know so many people don't want to have 2 jobs. I get that. I totally get that. And like, if you have children, obviously you can't. Like, there are some things, but if you're a single person or a person in a relationship with no kids, like, yeah, that fucking sucks to have two jobs. But if it's gonna give you a little extra income to build up now, to then quit the job that you don't like and propel you into something else, do it. Like, I had to fucking grind it out multiple times where I wasn't having fun. All I was doing was working. I wasn't doing anything social. I had no friends because I was working all the time. It wasn't fun at the time, but now I'm here, right? But like, do in this moment what's going to make you happy, because our days make up our life, right? And that actually brings me to another example. I, for some reason, remember this and think about it so often. My friend Austin came to visit me in Dallas when I lived at the mansion with May Dog, and I think I had just met the nanny fam. I'm not really sure. Maybe not yet. Basically, I almost started working for the company he was working for. He's selling like burritos or something. Long story short, they're based out of Dallas. But I remember talking to him, and I think a lot of people are like this, like so goal oriented and like getting here and like which like I am too. But I also am very intentional about the day to day, because like if you hate your life day to day to day, like you're going to look back and it's like, what the fuck? And of course, like there are circumstances that you can't help. Again, we get stuck in a job. I understand how it happens because you need the income. And another problem that a lot of my friends have, it's like they're making a certain amount of money and they don't have the credentials to get something bigger, or they'll have to take a pay cut or start at the bottom somewhere else. And like, I get that. And that's hard to do. I would still say do it if you're in a job that's miserable and doesn't have growth. But I remember we were talking and he asked me something like, he was like, don't you want to, like, what are you like, shooting for or whatever? And the thing is, like, naturally your life will progress. Like, you're not going to stay in the same position, because I think at the time I was doing the real estate and that's primarily what I was doing, right? He's like, but like, what are you like trying, like, do you want to do residential? And I'm like, no, like, this is good for right now. And he's like, you would do this for the rest of your life. I'm like, number one, that just would never happen. Like, no, I'm not going to do this for the rest of my life, but I'm so happy right now. I get to make my own schedule. I get to go into the office when I want. I get to, like, I was so free. Like, if I wanted to go out and shop, that's fine. But like, I have clients that I would do my job later. Like, it was so flexible and I was making good money. Yeah, it was commission. And I was like, as it stands right now, yes, I would do this again and again and again. Like, this is serving me right now. And I'm so happy and I can travel and like, and he just was so baffled and was like, but like, what are you shooting for? I'm like, nothing. But then guess what? Time came. I got that feeling I'm not loving this anymore, because I was working, like, even though it was super flexible, I had a million clients texting me all the time. And then I met the nanny fam. I was thinking about leaving Dallas. Like, these things will naturally happen. And like, yeah, you'll get sick of a job. You could love a job and then all of a sudden you get put on a team and you hate the people and you no longer, and you'll get out of that, right? Like, the shift will happen. But like, I think it's so important to enjoy what you're doing right now, day to day, as much as you can. Of course, if you work a corporate job, like, nobody wants to be at a job from 9 to 5 every day or whatever your hours are. But again, like, okay, so if you're in this place where you're not really enjoying it, like, that is telling you, you'll get to the point where it's like unbearable. Like, you always get that feeling where it's like, okay, like, I don't feel right in my skin. I need to figure something out. And that will like push you into the next part, whether that's quitting the job, if you can do that, or like start looking for a new job, or like put yourself in positions, meet new people. Connections are so big. You could get a job through somebody you know. And I just think that whatever that is, like, and if you, for example, like, I didn't love working at Equinox. Like, it was fine. It was fun. Like, I got to interact with people, but like looking at an 8-hour shift, once I was done with the internship, like, I would work from like 11 to 7. I'm like, fuck. But guess what? In the morning, I had my coffee. I went on my walk. I like did my whatevers. Then I went to work. And then after, like, I created the things around that I enjoyed, right? Whether that was like grabbing sushi or no, I never really ate out. But like, again, I like love solitude. So like, I would just go home and be by myself and watch whatever I wanted. Like, I was living in Dallas and like, I had created this life. Again, if you hate where you live, that's a huge thing. Like, your environment is everything. I just think do what is in your control and power right now to even if it's not your dream job. Real estate was never my dream job, but guess what? I was making good money and it gave me flexibility. So like that was the payoff. Like making sure, yes, there are going to be parts of our life that we don't really love. And typically that's going to be the job because that's the thing we have to do to make money to live. But what can you do around that to enjoy your life? I just wanted to talk about that. And I want to jump more into it next week, just kind of about that space where you're like, it's not bad enough, but you're also not enjoying it. Like, I encourage you to do whatever you need to do to get out of that. Like, life is too short and like the years just go by. Like all of my friends now have been in their jobs for so long that all of them don't really like. My friend Chelsea, she's about to have her baby. She just quit her job last month. And she's like, no, her husband, are they making a ton of money? No. But she's like, I would rather make no money and figure out like how to navigate that with the one income than be miserable and stressed and go to that job every day. She's like, we can make it work. No, like I might not be buying the extra frills. And again, that's the thing. Like, yeah, maybe you can't go shopping as much as you'd like. Like some people, for example, want the high paying job so then they can go on trips and buy the clothes. But like, if you're like me, like I could take the step back and not work. It's like, okay, we have one income. You can't buy all of these extra things, but like the stress of the job, right, is like not worth it and not worth it for her baby, and she's gonna give birth. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyways, I hope that was encouraging. It probably wasn't, but I'm doing the best that I can because it's super relevant to me right now. I feel like I talk to all my friends and like I'm trying to figure out how to get them to quit their jobs and help them get a new job. I'm also like, especially with Natalie, I like keep telling her, I'm like, I'm trying to like do more and like make more. And I'm like, Natalie, I'll hire you and you can help me like film. I don't know. We'll like figure something out. But anywho, what do we have this week? Carter and I have a dinner reservation at Wicked Butcher downtown in Dallas. They reached out to me to like come on in. And I was like, Carter, we need to go on a date night now, especially more than ever. We need like intentional time together. Super excited about that. I need to go see Natalie. I haven't seen her in like weeks. We're going to see each other. I don't think we have anything else. And then next week is the race. I'm going to Minneapolis to see my brother. I think we're going to go to Valley Scare, which is Valley Fair, the roller coaster place, but they do like this Halloween fall theme called Valley Scare. He really wants to go if we're feeling up to it, because we'd have to go Saturday night, but the race is Saturday morning, but it's only 6 miles. I think we'll be fine. Maybe just pop a little ibuprofen. But anywho, okay, I'm going to wrap this up here. Thank you guys so much for listening. As always, I hope you have the best weekend. Have the best weekend. Be safe. And I will see you on Monday. Okay, bye guys.